Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me make sure everything's working properly. So, I am April and I am with astrolada.com and I'm doing a weekly horoscope slash coffee talk. So, I'm going to be going over the horoscope for the week of June 14th through the 21st of 2019. I do Fridays. I do Friday to Friday because Friday is ruled by the planet Venus, and I am Venus ruled myself, being a Taurus, Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, all in the seventh house of Venus. So, this is my day. Yes, thank you, Stacey. I missed you guys too. Okay, so I wasn't here last week. I had a lot of technical difficulties with my computer and my internet, and it was just a big old mess. I was dying without my computer for a week, and the internet being messed up. Oh my gosh, it just goes to show how addicted we are to technology. like I was so like I was bugging out. I was depressed with this stuff not working properly. It was so frustrating. I was like, I have no life. But yes, I'm back. So, what I'm going to talk about is the astrology for this coming week, as well as I'm going to do a celebrity chart, which is I'm going to do Prince. You know what? I was going to do Prince's chart last week because my broadcast would have been on his actual birthday, which was June 7th. So I'm making up for it by doing it today. We're going to take a look at Prince's birth chart. Prince, the singer, of course. Oh, and I have another Gemini artist whose birthday is coming up in a few days on my shirt. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have Tupac on this shirt. It's Tupac's birthday on June 16th. June 1671. That's his birthday. So anyway, let's talk about the astrology for the week. What's going on? What's lingering? What is in the air? What's the energy, the vibe, what's all that going on? So first of all, we still have the sun opposing Jupiter and squaring Neptune. So we still have that going on. And I didn't get to talk about this last week because I wasn't here, but that is the sun is illuminating Jupiter and Neptune, but it's in a challenging aspects. So that means that all may not be what they seem. You kind of have to watch it with this energy because people may promise a lot of big things and they may not always be what they can actually deliver, or and sometimes it's just, people say stuff in the moment that it's just exciting in the moment, but when it comes to the follow through with all this mutable stuff, all these squares, this T square, mutable energy, mutable is very changeable. So what's going on in one moment may not be what's going on in the next moment, may not continue on consistently. So that's something that we have to be mindful of. It's energy that's still going to carry on through the weekend. So 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, it'll start to clear later in the week, thank goodness. So yeah, that's still going on. Now we have Mars opposing Saturn right now, but it's also making a good trine aspect to Neptune as well. So Mars opposing Saturn, it can slow people down. It can make people excuse me, feel like stopped. It can literally stop you in your tracks because Mars is your tracks. It's like your physical movement. It's walking, running, driving is more Mercury is the act of driving, but physically getting to places is Mars. And then there's an opposition to Saturn, which can say halt. Wait, hold up, slow your roll. Let's stop. Let's think about this. Let's see what's going on. Let's ask ourselves some questions before we proceed forward. So that's Saturn. So some people may feel like things that they're pushing for are like they may feel blocked in some sort of way. They may feel like there are many obstacles in their way. that it's harder to push through than usual. So, you just got to work through that. This too shall pass. And also, Mars is making a trine to Neptune, which tells you that if you really have faith and belief in things that are beyond what's in front of you, beyond the physical, then you can make some magic happen, pretty much. So working with both, actually Saturn and Neptune, it's a good thing, even though they're in their home signs, which make a great aspect to one another, Pisces and Capricorn. They make great aspects to each other on the wheel. They actually represent two totally different things. Capricorn, where Saturn is at, is more about like reality checks, and being very grounded here, and only on the tried and true path, and what you see in front of you is what you get. And anything else is a bunch of hooey, like that's Saturn. And then Neptune is like, no, there's a whole world beyond what you see in front of you, and whatever we want to do, yeah, we can achieve. And sometimes it has to do with just believing and having faith. And Saturn is like, no, it's hard work. And, Pisces and Neptune is like, no, it can be magic. But those two energies can work together to manifest some really great things when you put your action to them, which is Mars. So both those planets are working with Mars. One is challenging, the other one is not. But it's all about still pushing through, believing you can push through no matter what. So it can be good for any type of work. It could be good for spiritual work or practical work, either or. So that's still going on. And then we have on the let's see, on the 16th, this is when Mercury comes into a trine aspect with Neptune, and the Jupiter square Neptune aspect is exact. Okay, so Mercury trine Neptune is actually positive. It is Mercury is our speech, our communication, and then Neptune is spirituality, and it is belief in the beyond, in the other side, connection to the spirit realm. It's also dreams and aspirations, like, both. Yeah, Neptune can deal with that, like aspirations type of dreams, fantasy, music, art, all of that is Neptune. So Mercury trine Neptune. So this is a good aspect for anything communication combined with anything the Neptune rules, or anything with use of your hands or your mind, and Neptune ruled things. Okay, so really good energy for any type of writing, creative stuff, poetry, songwriting, playing instruments, any type of dance, very mercurial dance that involves your hands and your arms. Yes, mood. Yeah, music. People will be more in tune with music. This is already building up. I mean, as I'm recording this aspect is building. It's not. It's going to be exact on the 16th, but it's building up right now, and I'm definitely feeling that. Like, I've been wanting to share more music with people, like on social media. I've been sharing a lot more like music, and I just have been in that mood to where I want to just be more immersed in music all day, every day, music and dance. Um, so I've been, doing a little bit more dance stuff too. So it's just awesome energy. Some people, if you're not involved in any type of artistic creative thing, it could be just you want to read. Mercury can deal with reading. Like, you want to read up on things that are like fantasy related, any books that are like ones that take you away in your mind mentally to another place. Some people may want to drive off to the ocean or another body of water, somewhere that's it provides, the beauty of water and escapism. Um, Now, even though a trine is a positive aspect, I will say, yes, still be careful driving, because this still is like Mercury and Neptune. Like, there's a gateway of Neptunian energy to be like flooded through. So, to Mercury can rule what you do with your hands. It can rule your mind. So your mind can be taken off somewhere else, which means you're not here in the practical world. You're not fully paying attention. So be very careful driving. with Mercury trine Neptune. But it is very beautiful energy. I would say the trine is, once again, it's positive. It's a positive aspect. Um, but we can still get kind of lost a little bit outside of reality. So, yeah, hi to everybody in the chat. Rory asks what my sun and rising signs are. My sun is Taurus and rising is Scorpio and moon is Pisces. Um, yeah, I listen to all kinds of music, actually. Okay, so moving on to Jupiter square Neptune. Now, Jupiter and Neptune are both dreamer planets. They're squaring each other exactly. I believe, I want to say in January or February, like earlier in the year of 2019, they made an exact square to each other as well. So there could be some things that we're dealing with that are like escaping reality, impracticality, like people just not fully all the way here mentally, more like wanting to be in a state of bliss, nirvana, just kind of floating in their own zone, their own time zone. That is that Jupiter and Neptune square. Now, listen, when Jupiter went into Sagittarius at the end of last year, we already talked about this, okay? That the square to Neptune rules drugs, alcohol, substances, negative forms of escapism that are harmful to you. So Jupiter expands, and a square can be a negative expansion of something, opening up the floodgates of Neptune. I don't want to hear about anybody potentially overdosing on anything or getting alcohol poisoning or anything crazy like that, because this aspect can cause people to go a little overboard with the escapism tactics. You know what I'm saying? Jupiter rules travel. Neptune is the ocean. So some people, yeah, this can make you just want to escape away to the ocean. I know it's doing that for me. Totally. I just want to run off. Like, I feel like a lot of life is closing in on me right now. And it's making me want to just tune into that Jupiter Neptune square and say, you know what? I want to travel Jupiter and go off to the water, to the ocean, which is Neptune, and just not even really face all the practical reality stuff that's no fun, right? So a lot of people can be tapping into that energy that way. Some could be doing it overdoing things. Jupiter could be overdoing. So just be cautious, you guys. Be cautious with this. And Jupiter square Neptune, yeah, all is not what it seems. It's very magical energy though. It is having faith and belief, blind faith, belief, and optimism in things that can happen. It can open the doors to spirituality, more spiritual energy, even though it's a square aspect. So yeah, just be aware of that, you guys. On the 16th, it's going to be exact, but pretty much the rest of the month, it's going to be, in that square aspect, like to some degree. It already has been, but it's just going to be exact. So be cautious of any of you yourself promising more than you can deliver, or of others doing the same thing, talking a good game. You know what I mean? Saying this and that, all these grand things, but it's like, is there really anything to back it up? Anything with substance, because the planet Jupiter itself is made, like, physically of a lot of like hot air and gases, from what I understand. So a lot of times it can actually act like that in real life, like bring those qualities, which is, how they say, oh, you're just talking about your hot air, which means there's not much to back it up, not much to solidify things. So sometimes with that Jupiter Neptune square, that can happen. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind over this weekend, and into the week and into the rest of the month, actually. Okay. What else is going on? So we do have, oh my gosh, there's so much going on this week. Okay. We have a full moon in Sagittarius on the 17th, early in the morning here in the US. Full moon in Sagittarius, and it is in a conjunction with Jupiter, but Jupiter's retrograde. Full moon in Sag. I'll go through all the signs, in a little bit, and let you guys know what that full moon is going to bring to everybody based on your signs. Thank you so much to you guys in the chat saying nice stuff. Thank you very much. I see ya. I see ya. Okay. What else? Now listen, the 18th and the 19th um can be very touchy. Very touchy. This is why. Mercury, like I said, it rules how we communicate. It rules how we speak, how we think, talk, all of that, right? That's Mercury. Mars is our action and our drive, physical movement. But Mars can also rule anger and aggression. So Mercury combined with Mars already has people with their little panties in a bunch, to be honest. It's in the sign of Cancer, which is a very emotional sign, not very logical at all. So a lot of people are just like super quick to anger based on pure emotion, like fiery, it's like fire and water, like boiling water. You know what I mean? Like Mars is fiery and it's in a water sign, and then it's like in this emotional water sign. So yeah, it is kind of like boiling water in a way. We can be quick to boil, okay? Like all of us can. Mercury conjunct Mars can have people just speaking out of tone, speaking louder, um, more enthusiastically, yeah, but also like just mad and petty. Okay, like I'm just gonna be honest. Cancer energy when it's upset can be very petty, just kind of um whatever you feel, you're just gonna speak upon it. You're just gonna act upon it based on that. No matter what. No matter what else is going on, no matter what facts, no matter what logic, no matter what, consequences are, you're just gonna like speak or do. That's what that Mercury and Mars can do. And it can cause a little bit more disagreements, arguments, so just be mindful of that. Mercury conjunct Mars, and they will both. That'll be on the 18th that they come together exactly, and then on the 19th is when they both oppose Pluto. I do kind of worry about an aspect like this because Pluto can bring destruction and violence, and when combined with Mars and Mercury, that's the hands, and then that's anger and aggression. So around the 19th, just kind of look out for your peoples and yourself. Make sure that nobody is trying to do anything destructive based on emotions only, like people getting mad and just destroying people's property because they're in a little spat with them, stuff like that. There's an increased chance of it, or violence or arguments or violent arguments based on like family matters or protecting loved ones, which can be a legit reason to have to sometimes kind of lash out, but some people could take it a little too far, like just be overly sensitive with things, taking it too far to where people get hurt. Okay, so just be careful with that energy. Now, the opposition to Pluto does have a good positive point, though. Okay, Pluto is also extreme obsession and focus. So when combined with Mercury and Mars, that can mean you have laser sharp focus and execution style, not like literally executing. Okay, I'm talking about executing actions and tasks. That's what Mars can deal with. So you'll be like zoomed zoomed in on what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what you want, who you want. This can cause some obsessive energy, to be quite honest, too. But it is like, hey, if you've got something to accomplish or achieve and you have to really like just hone in and only see that with tunnel vision and blinders, well, then this energy can definitely bring that to you. So on the 21st, this is when Mercury, I'm going to count Mercury as going into shadow period around the 21st, to be honest. Mercury's going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo at the early degrees of Leo, but it is going to go back into Cancer, back to about 24 degrees of Cancer before it moves forward again. So that 24th degree of Cancer is very important right now. And you guys need to pay attention to when Mercury is there, and right now, and then retrograde, and then direct again at 24 degrees of Cancer, because um the one of the eclipses, the full moon eclipse in July, is at 24 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer. And then we have Mercury retrograde going back to 24 degrees of Cancer. So that 24th degree is very important. So wherever it lands in your chart, it's going to activate something a couple of times. Okay, there's going to be something that has to be gone over. It's going to give us more insight into what the eclipses can be bringing to us. But remember, the effects of the eclipses last up to 6 months after the date of the eclipse. They can be experienced, seen, heard, felt, up to I'm going to say a month before. So we're already in that month before zone. And then we've got Mercury going into shadow period around that eclipse point degree. So definitely need to pay attention to where Cancer and also Capricorn are in your natal chart to see what exactly, maybe there's some things that may pop up around that 24th degree with Mercury there, that can give you some clues into what the eclipse is supposed to be bringing to you or changing for you. So, sorry guys. So yeah, that is also going on next week. That's going on the 21st. So that's the astrology for the week, but I will let you guys know what the full moon in Sagittarius is doing for you guys. This is on the 17th, really early in the wee hours of the morning on the 17th. If you're in the US, like the western part of it, especially if you're anywhere east, it's further in the morning or maybe the afternoon, right? So we have a full moon in Sagittarius conjunct Jupiter. So Jupiter expands upon things. Jupiter and the moon, it expands upon emotions. So anyway, the moon, full moon is with Jupiter. So Jupiter is it's a dreamer planet, and it is about making things happen, belief in things happening that you want to happen. I would say that this full moon is at a kind of a wide aspect, but still an aspect to Neptune as well, squaring it, and then conjunct Jupiter. So lots of dreamer energy still. Sagittarius in itself is about anything you want to achieve, you can do it. You got to believe in yourself. You believe in others and what they can do. That is Sagittarius energy through and through, just alone, right? And then we've got Jupiter involved, which rules Sagittarius, and it's in Sagittarius, so it's adding that even more to the mix. So yeah, that's what the full moon is about. It's we can just say traditionally Sagittarius is travel and adventure and this and that. It's also opportunity and the ability to see opportunity in things, and also optimism. Having a sense of optimism and faith no matter what is Sagittarius energy in itself. So the full moon could be illuminating something to do with that for all of us, to help us to have that type of an attitude. Now let's go through the signs, and I'll tell you guys where it is in your chart, what area of your life it is highlighting the most. So starting, let me actually get a sip of water first before I start rambling off all the signs. Dang it, the lid. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And hello again to everybody in the chat, especially all the new people that just came through. Okay, so let's talk about the full moon in Sagittarius. So for Aries people, Aries, the full moon in Sag is in your 9th house. It's between your 9th and your 3rd, because remember we have the sun and the moon opposing each other. So this can deal with like making a decision to make a trip and travel. And it could be a very important trip, like that's very meaningful, maybe something that's kind of like spiritual to you, or it's like some sort of a journey, something very meaningful. Because I'm sorry, yeah, Sagittarius energy is about travel like all the time. But when there's a full moon, it's like an event that has more meaning to it. So it could be a meaningful trip. It can mean also like there's some sort of opportunity that's coming your way, or the ability to see opportunity, the ability to see a brighter day, a next day or whatever, and be optimistic. That's also the ninth house. So there could be a full moon. I mean, the full moon there could be bringing a different perspective to Aries people about something, opening yourselves up to more opportunities somehow, some way. And that can also be through education, which the ninth house traditionally rules. So some of you guys could be like going after pursuing your education, a little further, in order to bring more opportunity in. Yes, indeed. So that's what it is for Aries people. But you guys can get super hyped, super excited about life and just some things that are coming your way with this full moon. But just, as all the signs need to be watching out for, all may not be what it seems. So you need to be aware of that. Okay. So for Tauruses, if you are a Taurus, sun, moon, or rising, the full moon in Sag is in your eighth house. It's between your eighth and your second. So this could be something financial that's highlighted, Taurus. Maybe whether or not you receive financial help and support versus being self-sufficient and supporting yourself. This could be some sort of a breakthrough that happens that has to do with finances, joint bills that you share with other people. This can mean spouses, this can mean other family members, friends, business partners, whomever. If you're splitting some kind of financial obligation, that's the eighth house. So there's something new there. The eighth house is also intimacy, like connecting with someone intimately, on a soul level. And the full moon could be like a finalization of a decision of whether or not to, allow an intimate relationship to continue or to start. Or it can mean, just clearing out some old when it comes to that topic in your life, Taurus. Like, who do you allow in and who do you close out? It can just be, something to do with intimacy that you're making a big decision about. And it could be, yeah, clearing out old, like you want to cut away. Like, listen, I'm a Taurus sun sign. And with that full moon building, I have been thinking about, there's people that I've been involved with romantically, I guess you can say, that I no longer am, but yet they're still hanging out on some of my social media accounts. And I've been thinking, with this full moon building in my eighth house, like, should I just cut them completely loose by not even allowing them to see anything on my social media? Or, like, because I want to make room for new when it comes to connections like that. So in order to do that, sometimes you got to get rid of old. So yeah, Taurus can be thinking about stuff like that with this full moon. Okay, so next up is Gemini. Gemini, if you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, the full moon is in your seventh house of relationships. It's between you and others, you and a relationship, Gemini. So yeah, there could be some illumination of a decision you need to make within an existing relationship, maybe whether to take things to another level, a next level, like, leveling up, getting engaged, getting married, being committed to one another, whatever. Or it could be, even for some people, a separation of a relationship. It could be, like, this is between your first and seventh houses. So if there's any relationships that have been lingering on, Gemini, that have been hanging around, and it's just like causing feelings of stagnation in your life, then this full moon will, excuse me, maybe help you to clear it out if you need to. Or it could be like, old relationship stuff that's still hanging around mentally and emotionally for you that you want to kind of clear away. You can't take anymore, because the full moon could be very like, I can't take this anymore. Okay, I gotta make a decision. It could be a decision between two people or a few people, like, do I date so and so or date so and so? Some of you guys could have that type of decision, or do I date someone at all, or do I remain single? Okay, that could be a decision as well. So for Gemini, yeah, it's just something to do with relationships that's going on with this full moon, a relationship decision. So for Cancer, if you're a Cancer rising, sun, or moon, then this full moon is in your 6th house, which is work and health. So for some Cancers, maybe it is a decision to leave a job. It's like, I can't take this anymore. They are screwing with my schedule. They're not paying me enough. They don't appreciate me, which Cancers love to say. Nobody appreciates me and I do everything around here. So maybe you do that at your job and you feel very undervalued or underappreciated, and you're like, you know what, I gotta go. So some people leave jobs when there's a full moon in their 6th house. Some people start jobs though when the full moon is in their 6th house. It's like a decision that's been finalized. So it could be to take a job, when it comes to health, this could be also the same thing. Like, something's got to give when it comes to like your health or a health issue. Taking care of yourself. It's like, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go on this diet. Or I can't take this anymore. I'm going to hop in that gym. I'm just going to do it now. This is a fiery full moon. It's in Sagittarius, a fire sign, go-getter sign. And it's conjunct Jupiter, So this could be a good one to initiate some new changes with your health regimen, and with like letting go of like bad habits and stuff that could be really bad for your health. So that's what it is for Cancer people. So something breaking through, something clearing away, or something old, that's being gotten rid of in the realm of health, okay, and jobs. So Leo, if you're a Leo rising, a Leo sun, a Leo moon, the full moon in Sag is in your 5th house, and that is the Leo territory. So it deals with Leo-like stuff. Which is children, romance, creative stuff that you'd like to do. You have a hobby, you have a talent, you have a skill, you like to show it off. That's 5th house. Romantic relationships, 5th house. So the full moon could be bringing a decision with any of those. Finalization, if you will. So some of you guys, it's like a decision of having a child or not having a child, or for some of you guys, maybe it's a pregnancy or a birth that's announced. Some of you guys, it is the house of romance and romantic dating partners. Maybe there's, like a dating situation, a romantic situation you've been in, Leo, and it's just become a little too much. So you have to leave it behind. And there's a decision. It's like, I can't take this anymore. I can't deal with this anymore. So that's what it could be with romantic relationship, like dating, or it could be a decision to date someone, whether or not to date them. Like, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? That's the full moon. It's a back and forth, between the sun and the moon. Should I go this way or that way? This way or that way? For some of you guys, it is a decision to join in on a hobby, like an interest that you have, and maybe just pick up something and say, you know what, I've always wanted to try this, so I'm going to try it and see if I'm good at it. For some of you guys, it's just realizing what you need in order to have more fun in your life and get attention that you like. That's all 5th house stuff. So if it doesn't do anything major with a relationship or anything, it could just be some internal stuff that you figure out that is like what makes your heart truly happy, So that's Leo. So for Virgo, if you're a Virgo rising, sun, or moon, the full moon in Sag is in your 4th house. So for you guys, this is some decision revolving around family and home, like maybe whether or not to move. For some Virgos, it's something to do with moving, something to do with your family relationships. Maybe there could be some sort of an outburst or something. Hopefully not, but just being honest, with the full moon, it's like, can't take this anymore. Something's got to give. So sometimes stuff like that happens. But it could be, yeah, a decision of whether or not to like move or stay or buy a home or sell a home or, something revolving around home though, is the big decision that's coming up with this full moon. Um, yeah, so it could be like, should you move or should you not? And if so, where to this place or to that place? There could be something going on in your career, Leo, or Virgo. I'm sorry. If there could be something going on in your career that in return affects your home life, and you're trying to make a decision of what to do. So it's between those areas for Virgo people. Yeah. So for Libra, if you're Libra rising, sun, or moon, a full moon in Sag is in your third house. So that is learning new skills for some Libras, discovering new information and new things through being curious. You know what? I'm sorry that I'm like so squirmy, you guys. I gotta fix this chair, number one, and number two. The moon is right on my natal Uranus right now. And then I have transiting Uranus on my Mars, like just chilling there. So that's like nervy energy. That's like nervous energy to where you can't really sit still for very long. So that's kind of what happens sometimes. Yes, thanks, Glow Angel, for the lightning bolts. That's exactly how I feel. The moon is sitting right on my Uranus right now. So I'm like, it's very hard to sit still. With Uranian energy like buzzing on you or at you. It's kind of like you have like static, just bzz. So if you were born with Uranus in Scorpio, like the later degrees of Scorpio, or maybe even the early degrees of Sag, like if you're an 80s kid, then yeah, you're probably feeling it too, the Uranian buzz. Anyhow, so back to Libras, the full moon is in your third house. So maybe something to do with learning skills. The third house is also how you get around, like not get around like I get around like the Tupac song, but not necessarily, but sometimes it can be because it is variety. But I mean how you get around, like how do you travel around? Like drive around? Do you take public transportation? Do you take the bus? Do you ride a scooter? Like what do you do? Like how do you get around your way? That's the third house. So there could be some major change that goes on there. I have seen a full moon in the third house bring people a situation to where they have to get a new vehicle. Sometimes it's an unfortunate situation, but it ends up with like, oh, okay, now I have to get a new car. Oh my god, and then it ends up being like a good thing. Like, oh wow, I had to get a new car, but it resulted in me getting a car that has a low payment, or like it's better than the one that you had before. So for some Libras, it could be something like that. Um, for some of you guys, let's see, a full moon in your third house. Yeah, third house is communication. So maybe something to do with that. Like you guys realize the way that you communicate could improve or be better somehow. A full moon in the third, yeah, it can mean that there's some sort of variety that you crave. David says short distance travel. Yeah, a decision of whether to travel like near or far if you want to go off somewhere like on a trip or something. Um, you know what? I do know a Libra that with the full moon in their third, they're trying to take the driver's exam, and the third house could be like I said, around the way. Like, how do you get around like your neighborhood, your city? That it's that. Okay, so next up is Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio rising, sun, or moon, the full moon in Sag is in your second house. It's actually between your second and eighth houses with the sun and moon. So that can mean something financial for Scorpios. Maybe you guys have to take on a new large financial obligation. Maybe you guys want a shift or change in your pay. And so that may happen for you with the full moon. But you know what? Full moon in the second house can also, let's see, between the second and the eighth, yeah, maybe it has to do with like getting a new job, being self-sufficient versus having the support of others, the financial support of others, which is the eighth house on the opposite end. So it could be some sort of decision, or maybe something to do with a pay raise. Like you want to raise in your pay at your existing job. You don't want to leave your job. It could be that, or maybe finding a new way to make money, like a second job or a side hustle or something. Can also be a full moon in your second, like bringing to light what you need to do in order to make money, better your money situation. And it's going to be something that, yeah, it could be a back and forth between being on your own, handling your own financially, or having this help and support of other people. So if you are a Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, the full moon in Sag is in your sign. Ooh, ouch. Sorry. Sorry about the noise. It could be in your sign. Oh my gosh. And Sagittarius, you guys are one of the clumsiest signs. So you understand this that just happened here. Okay. Anyway, so Sagittarius, this is something that you want to do with you, with your self, your appearance, your physical body. You want to make some sort of a change there with your identity. I've seen with full moons in the first house, people change their identities. Like they got a divorce and they still haven't changed their name back to their maiden name. So, they end up doing that with a full moon in the first house. They make decisions about things like plastic surgery, altering their physical appearance in some sort of way. Um, Maybe doing something with your hair that's drastic. You know what? I have a friend. I don't know her rising sign. I just know she's a Taurus as well. We were actually only like 3 days apart in year and everything. We're like 3 days apart. But anyway, I'm wondering if she has any Sagittarius, because she just decided to go from black hair to platinum blonde. And I'm like, girl, why didn't you just buy a wig? The wigs are so realistic nowadays and you don't even have to damage your hair. But she's like, no, I want to look like Storm on the X-Men. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I'm just bored with my look. So I'm thinking she could have some Sag somewhere in the mix. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, it is a drastic change. She said she's had dark hair for like 20 years and now she wants to look like Storm with white hair. So it's like, okay, go ahead, girl. But anyway, other Sagittarians, yeah, there's just some kind of major decision that's being made. One of my favorite YouTubers is a Sag, and yeah, she made an announcement recently that she is now single after being partnered with her boyfriend for years, and they were so cute together. But hey, she's been tweeting out a lot of stuff that's like, I love myself, I'm my own best friend, I'm doing this for me. And she's a Sag. So hey, you know what? For some of you guys, it could be that you're not dealing with anybody relationship wise right now, and you're just loving yourself. So for some of you guys, it's if a relationship situation that you're in is not one that makes you feel like you love life and love yourself, you could be cutting it loose, if, for the sake of your own sanity. Okay, so if you're a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, the full moon in Sag is in your 12th house. So this is the house of letting go, right? So yeah, some Cappies, it's just time to let some stuff go. Time to let some stuff go. The 12th house could be very charitable energy. So maybe like physically letting some things go. As far as things that have been hanging around for years, for too long. Maybe they have emotional attachments, like memories attached to them that you don't even need to dwell on anymore. So you should just get rid of some things. Could be something like that. 12th house, full moon in the 12th. Maybe it is calling you to be more spiritual, Capricorn. Like tap more into your intuition. Pay attention to your dreams, Cap. Everybody, but especially Capricorn around this full moon. It's just going to be in your house of dreams, and the hidden, you know. So a full moon in the 12th. Yeah, it could definitely be some sort of letting go breaking of old cycles, especially ones that are not healthy for you as a spirit and a soul, as well as being a body anymore. Breaking free. Okay. So for Aquarius, if you're an Aquarius rising sun or moon, the full moon in Sagittarius is in your 11th house, which has to do with your friends. What about your friends? Yep, another Gemini from TLC, Left Eye. Love her so much. RIP to her as well. But anyway, Aquarius risings, this could be situations revolving around your friends, your friendships, your groups, people that you network with. And this is Aquarian territory, 11th house. You guys are the 11th sign, so deals with some similar stuff to what you guys rule. So there could be a decision that you're making to leave a group maybe, or join a group or network of people. And, it could be a very big decision. Maybe it is like a corporation that you belong to, or some sort of organization for something really important revolving around your career even. Or maybe it is just for leisure, like the people that you hang out with, your social circle. Maybe you could be trying to cut some things and some people out because they no longer you no longer feel like associating with them resonates with you. As a matter of fact, I saw an Aquarius rising friend of mine post a quote today that said something about like, you are the company that you keep, something around those lines, right? Along those lines, I mean. And I'm like, wow, that's that full moon building in their 11th house for my Aquarius rising friend. She's definitely feeling it already and thinking about, who are my true friends, and whose company that I keep around me is positive and who's a negative influence. So that's what you guys could be doing, cutting some people out, maybe letting some people in, finding some new circles of peeps. That's what it is for Aquarius people. And last but certainly not least, Pisces, the full moon is in your 10th house. If you're a Pisces rising, sun or moon, full moon in Sag is in your 10th, between your 10th and your 4th. Something to do with your career. Something to do with your career. So for some Pisces, a full moon in the 10th could be a recognition, a promotion. But remember, all is not going to be always what it seems, though, because of Jupiter and Neptune squaring each other. But still, Pisces, there could be some opportunity that comes up for you that could be awesome with your career, with boosting yourself into notoriety or fame or the spotlight, or, being on top, being in a position of authority, a prestigious position to where you're admired, you're respected, you're looked upon like upward, by other people. So there's something that could come to you with this full moon in the 10th, or maybe it could be a decision to let a certain career path go because it's no longer serving you or resonating with you. And you have to kind of, go into a different direction now. You've outgrown whatever you were dealing with before. And it could be something involving family too. Like it could affect home and family. I know a Pisces, or I don't know them personally, but I watch them on YouTube. Pisces who just announced a pregnancy. And the 10th house can mean you yourself, your position of authority in this world, can meaning also like a parent, becoming a parent with a full moon that's in the 10th house. So yeah, that's what it is for you guys. The full moon in Sagittarius. I really hope that you guys have a blessed full moon. Remember, it is making difficult aspects to the dreamer planets. So don't go overboard with the dreaming. But yes, believe that a little bit of magic and dreams could be sprinkled into what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Okay. All right, guys. That's it for the weekly forecast. But let's go into the natal chart, Prince Singer, and see what we can see. It was his birthday on June 7th, and he would have been 61 or something. Lord have mercy. Really? Mr. Prince he's in his 60s. That's so hard to believe. So hard to believe. Okay, so this is Prince's natal chart, right? Okay. So this is Prince's chart. Um, Prince was a singer and a phenomenal dancer. Even in high heel boots, he was able to do some crazy moves, right? Some the splits and all kinds of stuff. Interesting. Excuse me. Interesting facts about Prince's natal chart. Now, Prince was a Scorpio rising. You know, everybody that knows me personally knows that Prince is my guy. He has been my guy since I was a little girl, like 3 years old, probably. Um, you gravitate towards artists that you do have some astrological similarities to. I've noticed that about people, myself included, because I'm like a big music lover and movies and all that stuff. And you find it when you once you learn astrology and know it, and then you look up people's birth information that are some of your favorites you connect to, you find that you guys have some things in common in your charts. There's some similar energies there. And that's why you tend to gravitate towards them. For example, Prince is a Scorpio rising. I'm also a Scorpio rising. He has Venus in Taurus. I also have Venus in Taurus. Um, he has Jupiter in Libra, so do I. He's very Neptunian. He has a Pisces moon. I have a Pisces moon. So that's why I'm like, that's my guy. He's like a male version of me. But anyway, what's up with Prince's chart? So he's got Neptune. I don't count this as a conjunction. It's too wide. It's 14 degrees apart. But if we were to look at things from the whole sign chart system, which I don't think we can really do this here. Placidus system. Placidus is based on your exact birth time. A whole sign is just like whatever sign is here, whatever planets in that sign belongs here in this house. Like first house is Scorpio, so whole sign would count Neptune as being in the first. Now, with using that makes sense for Prince. He was very Neptunian in nature. I mean, he does have a Pisces moon, and his moon makes a trine to Neptune, a good aspect to Neptune. One thing about Prince is he did not really care too much for time. I heard that, from people that were in his entourage, that he didn't allow clocks and watches around because he did not want to know what time it was, because it would have he said paying attention too much to time, first of all, ages you. Okay. And second of all, like it kind of messes with your creativity. You don't get to just dive in and create because you're worried about what time it is and how much time do you have. Oh my God. Like it takes away from it all. Neptune is all about not caring about time. And so yeah, this Neptune definitely makes sense for him to have it here and then also have it trying his moon. He did say that he got his like interest in music from his parents, his mom and his dad. So, that does make a lot of sense here. Moon is family. A lot of times it's mother or maternal figures, but it can rule family. In aspect to Neptune that rules music. So yeah, that you can see it's like he got that talent for music and the love for music from his family, mother, and also his father too. Okay, what else about Prince? Yeah, he had a Pisces moon, early degree Pisces moon, right here on the fourth house cusp. He did not, he hardly ever lived outside of his hometown. As a matter of fact, he passed away and he died in his hometown. He built the Paisley, was it called Paisley Park, as like a sanctuary. And he decided to build it in his home state. So fourth house people, they're very connected to their roots. This is the root of your chart. If their moon is here, it's very hard for them to leave home, to leave the house literally, but also to leave home, like their home city or state or whatever. They get very sentimental, especially if they're not able to take all of their family with them. No, they're going to stay put. Okay. Um, so yeah, he did that for the most part. I think he and one of his wives had a home in Spain, I want to say, but I think that they did. I don't know. That was like a back and forth thing, but yeah, he's very much rooted in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and that's that fourth house moon right there. So Also, Prince had Mercury in Gemini, Sun in Gemini. So yeah, the songwriting, this very like poetic and stuff. Now he had Mercury square Neptune. Wait, no, it's not a square, it's an in conjunction. Yeah. But still, that's a challenging aspect. But Mercury Neptune aspects, even if they're challenging, I found that these people make phenomenal songwriters and musicians and DJs, because this is your hands, your mind, your communication with Neptune, which is opening your mind to beyond, you know. So and to fantasy and outside of reality. So yeah, he had that Mercury making in conjunction to Neptune, but it still created some beautiful music, um, lyrics that are like kind of poetic in nature. Okay, now check this out. He has Pluto right on the midheaven. Midheaven and Leo, that's so apparent because Leo is the sign of showing off, of being a lion and just like, rawr, you're very passionate and you're just out there with your talent. So yeah, midheaven and Leo makes sense for him. That critical, crucial 29th degree, and Pluto sits right here. Pluto is a planet of controversy. Didn't he have a song called Controversy? Hello. And Pluto is a planet that does rule sexuality and stuff, and it was just all on display for Mr. Prince in his early years, especially. And this is like, yeah, power, this is him also like why he wanted his masters. With his music, he wanted his masters. Yeah, this is part of it. It's powerful. It's power right here on the midheaven, which is your career. He wanted control and power over his own creative work through his career. Now, he has Saturn in the second house. This can make somebody like a stingy old grandpa with money, no matter how old they are. Or it can also make it very hard for them to earn money. They have to work twice as hard as everybody else in order to really earn money. Now, let's talk about some transits that were very interesting for Prince. The planet Uranus, it rules the eccentric, the weird, the out there. It was transiting through Scorpio in the 70s and early 80s. So when he first came out, he was dressing pretty wacky, right? Like Prince was wearing some leopard thong with some knee-high boot or thigh-high boots and like all kinds of crazy stuff. And that was Uranus transiting his first house, with him just throwing his middle finger up to everybody that wanted him to be quote unquote normal. And he was just wearing whatever, like wild outfits, wild man, wild. And that went on through, Uranus and Sag, early parts of Sag. And then Uranus got here. And I think during the time that Uranus was in his second house is when, you know, he started having some sort of financial difficulties. I think that's when that happened. I want to say it was. So, yeah, and that's what was going on during that time. Saturn in the second house, I think that was when like his career started to kind of cool off, and he wasn't making as much money, and it was difficult to pay staff and everything else. Saturn in the second can definitely signify a time like that. And it was his Saturn return in the second house of money and resources and value and worth. So, when that happened, I'm going to say late 80s, mid to late 80s. Yeah, that started happening. What else can we say about Prince's chart, man? Well, he had a Venus square Uranus. This definitely said something about his dating life with women. Like he had some crazy on again, off again, or a sudden Uranian buzz of lightning hitting his Venus, and like, whoa, I met this woman. She's so fine. She's this, she's that. And then within a hot second, it's like, oh, he could change his mind. She can change her mind. This is that Venus square Uranus. But it can also make him attracted to women who are extremely different, exotic, just all different kinds of women. He had Mars in Aries, which when he was growing up and even, in his career and as an adult, he was competitive with basketball. Have you guys seen the Dave Chappelle show, Charlie Murphy, True Hollywood Stories, talking about Prince? Playing basketball. Yes, he's a little tiny 5'2" man, but he was really good at basketball. And this is Mars and Aries. It's at home in Aries. It's very much like it rules sports and stuff too. Being very competitive, being very physically active, Mars. So that's why he was still the way he was, even though he was a tiny little man. He was good at, basketball and stuff like that. But yeah, those are just some little points I wanted to point out in Prince's chart as far as his personality and what his chart says about him. If you guys have anything else to add, feel free to add it in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay of this. But we love Prince. I love Prince so much. I plan on getting a Prince tattoo one day of the symbol. I can't wait because I adore Prince. It's like a lifelong adoration for this man. All right, guys. So that's it for this week's horoscope and coffee talk. So I hope you guys have a good weekend. Hope you have a good week. Happy Father's Day if you are a father. Hope you have a special day. And if you do have a father still around, make sure you treat them very special on Sunday as well. And yeah, if you would like a reading with me, I'll leave the information below. I'm on astrolada.com. So my name is April. You guys can go find me there if you're interested in me reading your charts. And happy full moon in Sagittarius. I hope it brings some good things to people and not deceit and lies and craziness with those challenging aspects. Boy, I tell you. But yeah, the full moon should bring some good things, optimism, faith, happiness, and good things happening. If you manifest that, you're good to go. If you talk about it, you might be about it. Okay. So anyway, you guys, have a great week, a great weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Bye-bye.